Lavette is talking about the Rubicon, or the point of no return. I had never given much thought to that T that exists in all of our language, and if you look into the words that contain T and substitute cross for the T to find a different meaning to the word, it's very interesting. Like I just dropped off a guy at United Airline, right? Uni, or one T, so one cross, or the one middle cross in the action form of that. And also return, right? We're talking about no return. So if you do the same thing with that word, you have recrossing of the urn, and you could see the urn as like the mixing pot for duality. So when you get past that, once you pass the point of no return, you're off the wheel. You're no longer diving into that urn where you're going to mix around with all of the light fighting dark type scenarios, which is 3D realm. As far as the event, or the even T as she calls it, the even cross, the balance, there is going to be a big show, a big drama coming up as this battle has its conclusion. I don't know if it will be a conclusion or not, but we're going to have an iteration of it. As things come to a head and heat up in this particular juncture. If I could use Lavette's rubber band analogy when she talks about archetypal things that are to occur in your life as per your chart, or trends, and if you ignore the trends that must happen, like you keep around a relationship that isn't serving you, perhaps and likely isn't serving both sides, then you're pulling that rubber band and it's going to come snap at some point. So maybe you'll have like a terrible breakup after 10 years and traumatic, or you can separate amicably at 5 years and go peacefully. The same thing is with the duality game in general. And if you want to apply the rubber band analogy, whenever you are, say the middle cross is your center point or your present moment, and whenever you go either way, I know people like to claim the light side and the good side and all of that, but if you go either way, you have the other side acting as the base point for your rubber band. So if you go off into supreme happiness and bliss and joy, lots of overt kindnesses and healing and all of this, you're literally going off of the middle cross when you do that, and the other side is anchoring your rubber band. And if you do the dark thing and go after money and selfishness and power and myopic viewpoints, then the light side is where your rubber band is anchored. So you always get pulled back to center at some point after wibble wobbling back and forth for however many eons, or if you're just simply living out one linear timeline, then maybe it will be minutes or days or months, but it still creates that vibration around the center point. once you've done that enough, once you've done there's a bit of San Francisco pre-sunrise for you. Once you've done the enough flip-flopping back and forth between polarities over that center point, which always holds the balance and holds the space, at a certain point, you as the individual get tired of it. Both sides of it. All of the heaven aspects and all of the hell aspects. And you simply remain center most of the time. That's what I do most of the time. I don't only do that, but once you've found it, it's much more valuable than playing the seesaw game forever. So as far as me and what I'm going to be doing when this rubber band thing spills out into the perceivable manifest, is I'm just going to be sitting in the middle and holding space and letting people know that if the hell side is pulling at them and that's trying to create nightmares, then I will be letting them know that the other side is also an option, and they don't have to simply descend into the hell of their id or their subconscious where they've stored all their shit that they don't want to deal with yet. And the same thing for people who are wishing to create utopia or heaven. It's the same thing. Like, anytime you get off kilter or off that center still point, it's gonna come back around sometime. If you go up, you gotta fall back down, and if you go down, you gotta fall back up. That's how it works. So just my thoughts on this event that everybody's talking about. As far as me personally, like, I've been through this event so many times in so many ways that it's just going to be a show for me to watch it, even though I don't enjoy watching carnage and chaos and people killing each other or whatever spills out. I'm going to be sitting here and holding space for that event, however it may manifest for me personally, and it is what it is. There's no winning of the light and there's no losing of the dark. Like, that's just duality. Although if I were to choose a side, I would be more on the light side, but the center has no affinity for either side. It's created by both of the sides being balanced, and when both of the sides truly get balanced, that's your exit point. That's your true crossing over and out of duality, and that can happen while you're still in your body and still inhabiting real estate in